Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I'm going to presentation about my task with the title Comparative of Copyright Protection Period. This presentation made by myself, Salsabila Annisa Mahadewi, my NPM 20.0201.0095. Please pay attention for all my presentation. Okay, this table of content. There are 4 table of production. The second one, the legal basis of copyright. The third one, comparison of copyright period in various countries. And the last, conclusion. Okay, jump to the first material is introduction. So, copyright is the exclusive right of the creator that arises automatically based on declarative principle after a creation is realized in a tangible form without reducing restriction in accordance with statutory provision. The meaning of the nature of copyright, namely Rahmati Usman, said that copyright is a special or exclusive right granted to the author or copyright holder. Next, into legal basis of the length of time of copyright in Indonesia. In Indonesia, copyright is regulated in the law, namely Law Number 28 of 2014. Copyright must be protected as a whole because the right is attached to what is created and published automatically. However, copyright itself has a period of time. This is so that even though the creator of a work has passed away, his or her work is still protected. Bearing in mind that plagiarism or recreation of work without the permission of the original owner has been very common since the beginning until now. Next, comparison of copyright period in various countries. The first one in Indonesia, the validity period of copyright in Indonesia is divided into several parts. The first one is based on nature of creation. There are two types of based on nature of creation. The first one is original creation. For for creation that are original, the validity period or period of copyright protection itself is for the life of the creator and continues up to 50 years after death. If there are more than one creator, the copyright applies during the lifetime of the creator who died most recently, unless for 50 years after. According to Article 29, Paragraph 1 of the UUHJ atau Undang-Undang Hak Cipta, works include artbooks, pamphlet, and all other written works, plays, musical, dance, choreography, fan arts, and other arts. Second one is derivative works. For creation that are derivative, the validity period is 50 years from the time it was first announced are published. According to Article 30, Paragraph 1 and 2 of UUHC or Undang-Undang Hak Cipta, derivative works include computer programs, cinematography, photography, database, and etc. Okay, next, based on the copyright holder. There are several parts, two parts of based on the copyright holder. The first one, legal entity. For all the type of works, regardless of their nature, when the copyright holder is a legal entity, the protection period is 50 years from the time the work was first published. The second one, country. For factor and result for of folk culture that are common properties such as stories, saga or hikayat, fables, legends, songs, and etc. When the state is copyright holder, the validity period of such production is unlimited. Then for creation, whose create are unknown and have not been registered but are like anonymous, the copyright holder is the state and the validity period is 50 years since the creation was first made known to the public. Okay, move to the next country. In copyright expiration date in United States or America. The first one made before 1978 but not published, which is valid for as long as the creator of a work is still alive plus 70 years after the creator dies. Second one published between 1923 till 1963. The validity period is 28 years with an option to renew for another 67 years. If it is not renewed, it goes into the public domain. Okay, next, the third one published between 1964 till 1977. The validity period in that year is 95 years. Okay, the last one made in 1978 or later, for a single creator as long as the creator lives plus 70 years thereafter. As for creators in the form of companies or anonymous creators, 95 years from publication or 120 years from creation, whichever is shorter. Okay, the next countries, copyright expiration in the United Kingdom. The term of protection of duration of copyright varies depending on the type of copyright work and when the work was created. The provisions which govern them are very complicated. The general principles are set below. The first one, literary, dramatic, musical, and artistic works. The term of protection in the UK for an original literary, dramatic, musical, or artistic work for the life of the author plus 70 years from the end of the year in which they die. In the case of joint authorship, the term of copyright protection in such a work is calculated with reference to the last surviving author. Second one, films. Copyright in a film runs out 70 years after the end of the year in which the deed occurred. The last to survive of the principal director, the authors of the screenplay and dialogue, on the composer and any music specially created for the film. That one, broadcast. Copyright in a broadcast expires 50 years from the end of the year of making of the podcast. Okay, next, sound recording. Copyright in a sound recording lasts for 50 years from end of the years in which it was made for. If published in this time, 50 years from the end of the year of publication. If the recording is not published during that 50-year period, but it is played in public or communicated to the public during that period, then copyright will last for 50 years from when this happens. Next, typographical arrangement. Copyright in typographical arrangement of a published edition expires 25 years from the end of the year in which the edition was first published. Okay. Uh, Unpublished work. If by the time the copyright expire, a work has not been published, a subsequent publisher of the work receives as publication right equivalent to copyright is allow that communication to the public, making the work available by means of an electronic graphical system or broadcasting the work or including it within a cable program service. The publication right lasts for 25 years after the first publication of the work. The last of the copyright expiration date in UK are the moral right of paternity and integrity lasts as long as copyright in the work lasts. The moral right to object to false attribution lasts for 20 years after the death of the author. Okay, copyright expiration. Next, copyright expiration date in Japan. Protection will last for 50 years after the death of the author are. In the case of CO created works for 50 years after the death of the last living co-author in principle. The copyright for a work that bears the name of a legal entity or other legal entity as the author lasts until the expiration of 50 years after the work is announced. The copyright for a cinematography work will remain until the end of the 70 years period since the work was created, or if a work is not published within 70 years after this creation, until the end of the 70 years period after the creation of the work. Since late December 2018, the protection period has been changed to 70 years in order to comply with the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans and Pacific, for Trans-Pacific Partnership. Okay, sorry, this is conclusion. Protection for holders or creators of work varies in each country, but each country probably form this. Okay, thank you so much for your attention. Sorry for making any mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.